Hello, everybody. So this is not going to be an especially well-made or well-structured video. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet because currently I'm just recording the audio. So I'm not quite sure if I'm going to have just one still image throughout the entire thing or if I'm going to have several still images. I suppose I could have several still images and that'd be fine, but whatever I come up with. But I just wanted to quickly talk about the fact that, and this applies to the first and the second movie, that I was a little surprised both with this movie and the one that came out 2 years ago about the overall reception that they got. Because when I first saw the original Five Nights at Freddy's movie 2 years ago now, which is kind of not that long ago, but it's kind of crazy to think about because it really doesn't feel that long ago. I remember I first played Security Breach around that time, and part of it feels really distant, and part of it feels like it happened yesterday. I guess all in all, I'm not that different compared to late 2023, but it does kind of feel like a while ago, but I'm going to avoid rambling on here. That's when I first saw the movie. I believe it came out in October, right? And it couldn't have been much later that I finally saw the movie. It might have been early November. And when I finished, I had no real expectations coming in, except I did see the IMDb rating at the time was like 5.6. I think currently it's a 5.4, but it was in the mid-5s, so I figured, well, it's probably not going to be a masterpiece. Might not be awful, but it could be awful. Some awful movies have okay ratings, so it might just be terrible. But more than likely it's going to be okay, and that's kind of what I thought. It's like, I think Matthew Lillard was a little goofy for Afton, but overall, he did a good job. Especially as his, I forget what his fake name was, but especially as the fake persona, he does a very good job. As Afton, he's not especially intimidating. I know he's over 6 feet tall, so physically he's intimidating, but he doesn't really feel like Afton. But overall, he did a good job. It's just he sounds like Shaggy, and he looks like Shaggy. So because he played Shaggy, so it's a little hard to divorce that from the character. But I do think that overall he did a fine job, and I think the other actors did a fine job. Josh Hutcherson, I forget who played, I think, is it Piper Rubio plays the little girl? I forget who plays Vanessa, but I think all the actors did a good job. Even Matt Pat in that one scene did a good job, and it was fine. But I honestly thought that the public reception would be, I liked it. I thought it was a solid 3 stars maybe, despite its flaws. And I thought the fans would probably feel like that, it's an okay movie. Or even below okay. It's nice that they finally made a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and what they did get right, I really enjoy. But overall, it could have been a lot better. I thought that was going to be the overall reception with the fans, but the fans seem to treat it like it's a masterpiece of cinema. I mean, it has, is it 88% on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience scores? And people just keep talking about how amazing it is. And, I know that people acknowledge it's not a perfect movie, but the overall reception is just God. I walked away from that, like, with a new vigor in my step because it was just that amazing, and I didn't really feel... And I'm a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but that's kind of the reason why I walked away from the movie thinking it could have been better, because based off the games, it could have been better. Like, okay, you reference Vanessa, and good character, attractive character, we're not going to go into that right now, but, it's a good character, but she's in, like, the most recent, not the most recent anymore, but a game that came out a few years ago. At the time, it was only 2 years before, and it's like, why is she here? She was related to Afton, but she wasn't his daughter, which the movie came out 2 years ago. This isn't really a spoiler anymore. I'm not going to spoil the second movie because it still only came out a few days ago. I think you give people a chance to watch it first, but she's there, and that's nice fan service, but why is she there? And you know, I mean, Afton saying, I always come back. Well, what does that even mean in this context? I mean, you've never died before, so what does that mean? You've never become Springtrap before, so what do you mean, I always come back? I mean, we have no basis for that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to say that. Balloon Boy as a little figure, it's not a big deal. That was a nice little reference, and I like the Living Tombstone song playing at the end, but I honestly thought the fans would think, this is okay, but it could have been better, because, I mean, Mike sleeps through every single night, and it could have been better, but it was okay. I thought that's what they're going to think, but like I said earlier, they treat it like it's a masterpiece of cinema, and then the critics, I thought they probably weren't really going to like it very much. I did think that. I figured they'd probably think it's a generic horror movie, and most movies are like this anymore, and just, I don't really care about the references, and none of that fan service matters to me, because I'm a professional film critic. I watch movies for a living, and I don't care about references they've made to the games. It just doesn't matter to me, and I understood that, but I didn't think they'd literally, like, tear the shit out of it. It's like, you know, Rotten Tomatoes, the fan reception, it's like almost 90% positive. It's very, very high. But then on IMDb, it's still in the mid-5s, right? And I believe the Metascore rating's like a 30, if not less than that. It's like they really, really did not like this movie, and I just expected things to be a bit more neutral. And I mean, I'm not claiming superiority because I'm in the middle. I think that's stupid. Like, two people are arguing, one person says 2 + 2 = 5, the other person says 2 + 2 = 4. Well, let's compromise, it must be 4.5. Like, I've never liked that kind of thinking. I think if people love the movie, that's fine. They're not being too extreme. And if people hate the movie, they're not being too extreme, because it's an opinion. That's what opinions are. So I don't claim superiority because I'm in the middle. I just honestly thought that general perception would be a bit more neutral, but instead it's fans of the games think the movie should have won 10 Oscars, and non-fans and professional critics absolutely hated it, and I just didn't expect that. I expected it to be, again, a bit more neutral. And likewise with the second movie, in some ways I actually liked the second movie more. I haven't seen the first movie in a while, but I feel that the second movie has a stronger visual look. I think the toy animatronics are actually better done than the animatronics in the first movie. I think they look very, very, first of all, close to the games, and second of all, they look, I mean, they probably used some CGI maybe, or maybe they didn't, but either way, they look very close to the games, and they look very good. The Wizards look good, and of course, the animatronics from the original movie. I've said too much, but you understand what I mean. They all look good. And the movie, I think, looks better than the original, and overall it might be a little bit stronger. But I'd still say overall it's maybe 3 stars out of 5, and I really hated the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending was a complete cliffhanger. It honestly feels like they quit halfway through the movie and then they played the credits, and I'm not going to spoil anything more. I've said too much already, frankly, but yeah, it was maybe a little bit better than the original. Structurally and in terms of watching the movie, I felt overall it seemed to be a little bit better constructed, but that's just me. But I would still maybe give it 3 stars. I don't think it's horrible, and I don't think it deserves millions of Oscars, but opening week, I don't even know what it's made now, but I know opening weekend it made back its budget and more. I think it made $56 million opening weekend. And it was made on a $51 million budget, so it's already technically, well, no, it hasn't made a profit yet because there's other expenses, but assuming all they needed to make back was the budget to break even, they've already broke even and made some money, and soon enough it's probably going to be a huge success. It probably already is. They could probably stop showing the movie now and still make a huge amount of money. I mean, it was extremely successful. And same reaction as the first one. People think it is the best thing since sliced bread with butter on it. I mean, it's the best thing ever, and the critics still hate it. And I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not saying I'm in the middle, so I'm right. Again, like, what, I say the sky's blue, you say it's green, so it must be cyan. No, it's blue. No amount of compromising changes that. So ultimately, what's right is what you feel about it. If you hate the movie, you're right, because it's an opinion, right? So I'm not saying I'm in the middle, so I'm better. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I was kind of in the middle. Like, overall, I liked it, but it could have been much better. But the fans, I just don't like. Again, I'm a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but I just don't get what they see in the movie. It's like, ultimately, you still have to judge it like it's a movie, and as a movie, I guess it's fine. And my opinion is a little bit higher because it's Five Nights at Freddy's, and because you made those references, and you played the living tombstone at the end. I mean, of course, my opinion is biased, but I would never consider the movie a masterpiece of cinema. I don't know. I mean, and if you think it is, again, I'm sure you have your reasons, but if the reasons are just it's a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, I just think it deserves to be judged as a movie. So the fact that it has poor ratings on IMDb is fine by me, because it's really not a masterpiece of cinema. But yeah, I'm just saying, I didn't expect the split to be like half the people who saw it think the movie might as well not exist because it sucks that much, and the other half honestly love it. But whatever. I mean, I liked it. I'll see FNaF 3, if only for the fact that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 didn't even have a proper ending. But yeah, I don't think it's that spectacular. But that's just me. And again, I'm not saying I feel this way, so I'm better. No. Neutrality. Again, if I say 2 plus 2 equals 4 and someone else says it equals 5, 4.5 isn't the answer, because it's in the middle. Right? I mean, ultimately, it's right. Your opinion or facts are right because they're right. So I'm not saying I'm more neutral, so that means I'm right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I didn't expect this level of polarization. I did not expect that, but whatever. So I've been rambling for 12 minutes now. I'm going to end the video, but if anyone feels about the same way and thinks, yeah, the movie, I liked it as a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but I think even as a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, it could have been greatly improved. It could have been scarier. It could have been all these things. If you feel that way, by all means, I mean, leave a comment, because I'm genuinely curious. I mean, does every FNaF fan genuinely think there's nothing that could have been improved, and do all the critics think that everything could have been improved? I mean, is there nobody who agrees with me? If so, that's fine. I'm genuinely curious what is going on here.